Now, what if I told you that the number one killer in the world, cardiovascular disease, could be significantly influenced by a single meal? Not a pill, not a surgery, not some expensive supplement, a meal. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what that meal looks like, why every single ingredient matters at a biological level, and how the science behind it connects to something most cardiologists aren't even talking about yet. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered what's actually inside arterial plaque? Most people think it's just cholesterol clogging up a pipe like grease in a drain. That's not the full picture. And honestly, once you understand what's really happening inside your arteries, you're going to think about heart disease in a completely different way. Plaque is a combination of calcium, protein, and cholesterol. But here's the part that shocked me when I first dug into the research. The calcium you see in arterial plaque is very often the result of biofilms. Biofilms are colonies of microbes, bacteria that have built microscopic calcium shells around themselves to hide from your immune system. They're literally constructing little fortresses inside your arteries. And underneath that hardened calcium plaque, there can be an entire living microbial community, operating completely under the radar. Now it gets even more fascinating and a little disturbing. Studies have found periodontal bacteria, the same pathogenic bacteria living in your mouth, showing up inside arterial plaque. Think about that. Bacteria from your gums traveling through your bloodstream, ending up in your heart. This happens because your gums, just like your gut lining, can develop tiny openings, especially if you have bleeding gums or inflammation, and then bacteria slip right through into your circulation. Your mouth has over 700 different species of bacteria. Some of them, under the right conditions, can become passengers in your bloodstream, heading straight for your cardiovascular system. So what causes the artery wall to become the kind of rough, damaged surface where these biofilms and cholesterol deposits actually stick? That's the key question. Actually, so a healthy, smooth, strong arterial wall is like a non-stick surface. Things don't adhere easily. But when you have oxidation, inflammation, or direct damage to the inner lining of the artery, called the endothelium, you create the perfect environment for plaque to form. And what causes that damage? Excessive sugar in the diet, pre-diabetes, diabetes, a high intake of omega-6 fatty acids from processors and junk foods, alcohol, and chronic low-grade inflammation. When that damage happens, your body sends in cholesterol as a kind of band-aid. But it's a very specific type of cholesterol, small, dense LDL particles, that are highly correlated with high sugar, high carbohydrate diets. Then calcium mixes in, fibrous tissue forms around it like biological cement, and sometimes you even get a blood clot forming in the same area. That's the anatomy of a cardiovascular catastrophe. So what do we do about it? This is where it gets exciting, because there are specific nutrients, specific foods that directly address every single layer of this problem, and I've put them together into what I believe is the most powerful anti-plaque, heart protective meal you can eat. And let's start with omega-3 fatty acids, because they are absolutely foundational here. Omega-3s reduce inflammation in the arterial wall, support the heart muscle directly, and have been shown to lower blood pressure. And the food I want anchoring this meal is wild-caught salmon, not farmed, not processed. Wild caught, it delivers a concentrated dose of omega-3s that works to protect that endothelial lining and keep your arteries from becoming the kind of damaged, roughened surface where plaque takes hold. Now, the next element of this meal is something that most people walk past in the grocery store without a second glance, and it might be the most underrated cardiovascular superfood in existence. I'm talking about sauerkraut, fermented cabbage, and before you tune out, let me tell you why this belongs on your plate. Sauerkraut contains approximately 7 times the recommended daily intake of vitamin C in a single serving. Vitamin C is not just for immune support, it plays a direct role in maintaining the integrity of your arterial walls, acting as a powerful antioxidant that prevents the oxidative damage that starts the plaque formation process in the first place. It also directly inhibits biofilm formation, so if those microbial colonies are trying to set up shop in your arteries, vitamin C is one of your defenses against them. But that's only part of what sauerkraut brings. It is one of the most microbiologically dense foods on the planet, rich in lactic acid bacteria, a group of microorganisms produced through fermentation that have remarkable cardiovascular effects. Lactic acid bacteria can act as natural ACE inhibitors, helping to lower blood pressure the same way certain pharmaceutical drugs do, but without the side effects. And they can inhibit biofilm formation. They help regulate LDL cholesterol, particularly that dangerous small dense particle size we talked about. And they enhance your production of secondary bile salts, which improves your absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, specifically vitamin E, vitamin D, and vitamin K2, all three of which are critical for cardiovascular health. Speaking of vitamin K2, sauerkraut is loaded with it. This is one of the most important and overlooked vitamins in cardiovascular medicine. Vitamin K2 is the key that directs calcium where it belongs, into your bones, not into your arteries. Without enough K2, calcium drifts into soft tissues, your arterial walls, your joints, and contributes directly to calcification and plaque. Sauerkraut gives you K2 because the microbes in fermented foods produce it. And beyond all of that, sauerkraut supports your gut lining, preventing the kind of bacterial translocation we talked about earlier, where bacteria leak from the gut into the bloodstream and potentially travel to the heart. The third component of this meal is a big arugula salad, and arugula is not chosen randomly. Arugula is a cruciferous vegetable, which makes it exceptional for liver support and metabolic health. It's bitter, which stimulates bile production and aids digestion. It has blood glucose lowering properties, and it contains a compound called DIM, diindolylmethane, which research has shown can directly inhibit biofilm formation. And it's high in fiber to feed beneficial gut bacteria, and it's rich in potassium, which plays a critical role in keeping arteries flexible and blood pressure controlled. On that arugula, you're going to add extra virgin olive oil, the real authentic kind. The oleocanthal and polyphenols in quality olive oil have significant anti-inflammatory effects and measurable impacts on blood pressure. Then add apple cider vinegar or a good balsamic vinegar. The acetic acid in vinegar helps regulate blood sugar, supports cholesterol management, aids bile salt mobilization, and has anti-inflammatory properties, all directly relevant to cardiovascular risk reduction. Then add sunflower seeds. This is your concentrated source of vitamin E, which we haven't fully covered yet, but absolutely must. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that helps prevent those initial lesions on the endothelium, the arterial lining. When you're deficient in vitamin E, oxidative stress runs unchecked in your cardiovascular system. It also supports oxygen efficiency in the heart muscle itself, reducing the risk of a cardiac event at the tissue level. And finally, shave authentic Parmigiano Reggiano over the top. Not the American imitation, the real aged Italian version, produced by farmers in northern Italy, using standards that date back to the Middle Ages, aging the cheese for 1 to 3 years, feeding their cows grass from mineral-rich soil, and maintaining a fermentation process that produces genuine probiotic activity. And this cheese is loaded with vitamin K2, rich in protein, and contains live beneficial bacteria. The American versions are often aged for only 10 months and sometimes filled with cellulose, so simply don't compare. Find the real thing and use it generously. Last, but far from least, garlic. Add it to the salad. Use the powder. Use fermented black garlic if you can find it. Garlic has been shown to thin the blood, reducing clotting risk. It lowers blood pressure. It is both antimicrobial and antibiofilm, which connects directly back to everything we discussed about the microbial origins of calcified plaque. So let me bring this full circle. This one meal, wild caught salmon, a generous portion of sauerkraut, and a large arugula salad dressed with olive oil, apple cider vinegar, sunflower, or seeds, real Parmigiano Reggiano, and garlic, addresses cardiovascular disease from nearly every biological angle simultaneously. And it targets the inflammation that starts arterial damage, and it delivers the antioxidants that prevent oxidative lesions, and it provides the vitamin K2 that keeps calcium in bones and out of arteries. And it feeds and diversifies your gut microbiome to prevent bacterial translocation into the cardiovascular system. It directly inhibits biofilm formation. It helps regulate LDL particle size. It supports blood pressure through multiple independent mechanisms. And it gives your heart muscle the nutrients it needs to function optimally. This is not guesswork. This is what the science is pointing toward when you look at cardiovascular disease, not just as a plumbing problem, but as an inflammatory, microbial and nutritional disease that responds powerfully to what you eat. Now, if what I said today about biofilms and oral bacteria has you thinking, and it should, the next thing I want you to explore is the connection between what's happening in your mouth and what's happening in your heart. And it may be the missing link in your cardiovascular health that nobody has told you about yet.